So, yeah, I really... So here's what happens in Are You Afraid of the Dork? I thought Are You Afraid of the Dork was very, very, very funny because,
In 2 miles, use the left 2 lanes to take the exit toward I-95 North.
Because Larry the Lobster, Missy Upturn, and Bubble Bass all really sucked at telling scary campfire stories. So when the Flying Dutchman sees them there, he manages to outscare them with real scary stories that are personal to them. that are much better at scaring them than the scary stories they were telling.
Right.
Like,
Things that they were scared about. Wow. Yeah, push the buttons. Okay.
yeah, and it was also amusing to see how Patrick and SpongeBob, when Patrick and SpongeBob knew that their stories weren't scary, they came up with it. They knew what different things to add to make it scarier.
In half a mile, use the left 2 lanes to take the exit toward I-95.
And the Flying Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman trapped Bubble Bass, Larry the Lobster, and Missy Upturn on these summer Camp Scout patches, but then a miracle happened that saved them all. Patrick and SpongeBob Are You Afraid of the Dork was funny because even though Patrick and SpongeBob knew how to make other people's stories scarier, they weren't really that easy to scare themselves. So they got into the Flying Dutchman's scary story bubble, and the Flying Dutchman tries to scare them by having Mr. Krabs show up as a clown to punish them for stealing a head of lettuce. But Patrick and SpongeBob are too difficult to scare. They're actually very, even though they're not the brightest bulbs in the box, they were. It's funny because they were really good at their resistance to being scared actually helped them outscare the Flying Dutchman, so to set Bubble Bass, Missy Upturn, and Larry the Lobster free. And they did it by scaring the Flying Dutchman by giving him his own scary story, where he's embarrassed to be a little boy at camp again. And the Flying Dutchman becomes a Patrick SpongeBob SquarePants after he saved Bubble Bass, Missy Upturn, and Larry the Lobster. So yeah, I think so. If you watch Are You Afraid of the Dork, I guarantee you'll really enjoy it. And the same also goes for Terra at 20,000 Leagues.
That sounds really good.
It absolutely is. It's about Patrick and Squidina going around the neighborhood trying to get some getting Halloween candy, and it doesn't hold back on any of the comedic punches. It rolls with all of the punches and tells a variety of different Halloween stories to fill out 22 minutes, but in a good way, not in a way where it's just filler, but padding out the story. It's a really very entertaining variety show. First, there's a story about Grandma Tentacles being a witch who's controlling everybody to do the chores that she wants them to do. But then when she's making everyone do her chores with voodoo cookies, but then the Patrick voodoo cookie backfires on her when Patrick's controlling the cookie instead of the other way around, and that's how he sets everybody else free. kind of like how Patrick and SpongeBob where it was funny when Patrick and SpongeBob cleverly outscared the Flying Dutchman in Are You Afraid of the Dork? And Patrick finds a clever way to outscare Graham with tentacles without really trying to. Then there's meanwhile, Dr. Plankenstein is also watching this on TV with Pat Gore and Sponge Monster, and he's afraid of, and they're all afraid of trick-or-treaters.
Why are they afraid of trick-or-treaters?
Because Dr. Plankenstein wants them to be scared of the trick-or-treaters, villagers coming to steal their candy. Oh yeah. Then there was a Halloween commercial for a brain restaurant for zombies, and then there was another Halloween commercial for a salon that gives werewolves a makeover and helps them trim their hairs if they're worried about never shaving if they never shaved after or cut their hair after the previous full moon.
Right.
Yeah, those are very funny, amusing Halloween commercials. And then there was a Captain Doug Quasar segment where the Patrick Star robot named Patron is taking care of an alien bug monster, an alien robot bug monster, and Doug Quasar, Doug Quasar keeps warning Patron about how dangerous it is, but Patron is stupid and keeps ignoring him, and because he's calling the alien robot bug too much. And there's also another segment in the middle where we go back to Patrick and Squidina, in which they there's another segment in which we go back to Patrick and Squidina, and they are we go back to Patrick and Squidina, and we go back to Patrick and Squidina, and in the middle, and they're trick-or-treating at Bubble Bass's house, where Patrick eats all the candy that Bubble Bass was keeping around as collectibles.
Collectibles.
And that's why the candy was stale.
Who thinks anyone would do that? Okay.
Oh yeah, then the Patrick and Squidina plot, finally the Patrick and Squidina wraparound plot converges with the Dr. Plankenstein wraparound plot at the end, when Patrick and Squidina are trick-or-treating at Dr. Plankenstein's castle. And it's very funny to see how the Patrick Star Show blends the traditional 2D animation of the regular show with the stop motion animation of the Dr. Plankenstein segments.
Continue for 1.5 miles.
After some shenanigans, they finally got some candy from Dr. Plankenstein, but then when they get home, their parents, Cecil and Bunny Star, scared them scare them away into giving their candy, which Cecil and Bunny were very good at Halloween costumes because that's how they've been able to scare candy away from all the other kids who were trick-or-treating there. They got they knew how to drop the trick on them before they could collect a treat. And that's how Terra 20,000 Leagues ends. So yeah, while I know Kamp Koral and the Patrick Star Show are not for everybody, they're not really as disrespectful to the. I don't think they're really as disrespectful to Stephen Hillenburg's vision and style of comedy for SpongeBob SquarePants as the Wacky World of Tex Avery was to Tex Avery's style of.
Keep right at the fork.
To Tex Avery's style of comedy in the animated theatrical shorts that he made back in the days when he was alive, when he made a name for himself.
Okay. This is how much do I have?
$3.
Okay. I'd like a receipt, please.
To make a 2-episode long story short, I really think the Kamp Koral and the Patrick Star Show proved their worth with how much they really surprised me with.
Thank you.
Each of their first Halloween episodes, proving that the SpongeBob SquarePants franchise still has plenty of good years left to offer after the first movie from 2004. And while Sponge on the Run may not have been a good movie to start off Kamp Koral, that's why everybody hates it for setting up the spin-off that Hillenburg didn't want. At least Kamp Koral and the Patrick Star Show prove that the end result can be redeemed if they really know how to stay true to Hillenburg's style of comedy with SpongeBob SquarePants, which they definitely were with how Are You Afraid of the Dork and Terror at 20,000 Leagues were equal parts scary and funny. Just like Scaredy Pants, The Legend of Boo-Bkini Bottom, and many other Halloween special episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants in between. So, what do you think, Mom? If you watched Are You Afraid of the Dork and Terror at 20,000 Leagues, do you think you'd find them as funny as I did?
I'd probably, yeah.
Cleverly written.
Yeah, they sound really funny. Yeah.
And I'm sure Jill Talley and Bill Fagerbach and Tom Kenny would agree with you on that. I just hope Stephen Hillenburg's ghost is proud of those Halloween episodes. He probably is.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. I hope you don't hate Kamp Koral and the Patrick Star Show's special Halloween episodes. I really think both spin-offs redeem themselves with those two surprise Halloween gems. Because for me and other SpongeBob SquarePants fans my age, Are You Afraid of the Dork and Terror at 20,000 Leagues were the real Halloween treat we got in 2021.